Hi, this is Jaya. In this video, we shall see the summary of The Road by Cormac Mccarthy. Cormac Mccarthy was born in Rhode Island and he was born on July 20, 1933. His original name was Charles, which was named after his father, but he himself renamed as Cormac after the Irish. And his famous works include A Drowning Incident, Wake for Susan, The Orchard Keeper, Child of God, Sutri, Blood Meridian, The Stone Mason, All the Pretty Horses, The Crossing, Cities of the Plain, No Country for Old Men, The Sunset Limited. He has won the Ingram Merrill Award for Creative Writing in 1959 and 1960, and he has worked on the screenplay for PBS film called The Gardener's Son. In 2006, Alfred Knopf published The Road, and McCarthy granted an interview with Oprah Winfrey, who had chosen this novel, The Road, for her book club. And in 2013, McCarthy penned an original screenplay, The Counselor. The Road describes a bleak journey of a father and a son who go across the post-apocalyptic American landscape. Actually, McCarthy had visited El Paso, a place in Texas, with one of his sons, John Francis McCarthy, in 2003. And it was at this time he got the idea for the novel The Road. And McCarthy envisioned how the city would look in future. Later, he dedicated this novel to his son John. And this novel has won the Pulitzer Prize and the James Tate Black Memorial Prize. They are actually two main characters, but we come across many characters in the novel. The main characters of the novel are the father and the son, and the other minor characters are a burnt man, a man from the truck, the man's wife, a little boy, the naked people, the cannibals. Actually, there are 6 cannibals, 4 men and 2 women. And in the whole novel, we find only one character with the name Ellie, but later on he tells that it is not his true name, and Ellie is an old man. And then we meet 3 men with pipes, 3 men and a pregnant woman, a thief, and a man shooting arrows, and a man who is along with the man who is shooting the arrows, and the man with a shotgun, and the wife of the man with a shotgun. The story goes like this. The Road actually tells the journey taken by a father and a young son towards south after an unnamed catastrophe has struck the world. The man and the boy, they travel through a very rough landscape of the southeastern United States. And the conditions they face are unforgiving because they see rotted corpses, landscapes devastated by fire, abandoned towns and houses. And these two travelers, that is the father and the boy, are the only few living creatures remaining on the earth. And they are the only ones who have escaped murder, rape and cannibalism. The father and the son struggle to survive in this harsh weather with very little food supplies and shelter. And in their path, in their travel, they escape from those who seek to steal from them, or even worse, they try to kill them for food. But despite all these hardships, the man and the child remain determined to survive, and they keep on reaffirming themselves that they are good guys and they will never harm others for any cause. The boy in particular retains his humanity against all the odds, and throughout his journey he tries to help all the living beings he comes across. Unfortunately, the father's health worsens as they travel, and by the time they reach the ocean, he is near his death. He continually coughs up blood, and the two are actually forced to slow down their journey, and finally he dies in a wood, lying next to his son in the middle of the night. The boy remains by his side for several days, and eventually he meets a kind family who joins him along with them, and the boy finally says goodbye to his father and starts a new journey with his family. We'll see a detailed summary of this book. The book starts with a man awakening in the night to check on his son, and we find that even in the sleep the father and the boy are wearing a mask. And from their speech, the father guesses that the season must be autumn, and we understand that they have been traveling for more than a year, and they carry only the most necessary belongings, and they are traveling in a dead land heading towards south. And wherever they come across, they try to see if they can get something which they can use, and they come to a gas station where the father picks up the phone and dials his own father's phone number. The boy asks his father whether they will also die, to which the father replies, "Sometime, not now." And later he adds that if the son dies, he would also die. From this, we understand that the father is holding on to his life only for the sake of his son. And we also find that the father holds a pistol close by and he travels. So it is also evident that they are expecting danger any moment. And on the way, they find a lot of corpses, and as they pass a barn, they discover 3 bodies hanging inside. At this time, the father dreams of his dead wife. Then they come across a dam and a lake, but there are no fish in the lake. And from a billboard, we find that they are near the state of Georgia. At a farmhouse, they take some bedsheets and blankets, and in an abundant supermarket, the father finds a Coca-Cola can which he gives to his son as a treat. And in another city, as they pass by, they see countless number of corpses. And one day they come to a house where the father grew up, but in that house, all the rooms are empty. The father enters the house and imagines the way Christmas was celebrated in that house and the time he spent with his sisters. He even shows the boy his bedroom. And then the father dreams about his wife who was sick and how he took care of her. They consult an old dismembered map and they plan their route and they go accordingly towards the south. The next day, the father notices a fire in the horizon and they find footprints in the burnt and cooling tar. They follow the footprints and they catch up with the footprint maker. The man looks burnt because he has been struck by a lightning. The boy wants to help the man, but the father refuses, and eventually we find the burnt man collapsing. A flashback describes a time when his wife was pregnant with the boy, and all the clocks stopped at 1:17. The power went out, and through the window, the father saw a dull rose grow. And in another memory, he remembers hearing birds overhead, and he tells that he never heard the birds after that. He tries to teach his son some card games, and then we find the father getting up one day, coughing up blood. Then he has another flashback which involves a conversation between the man and his wife after the boy has been born. They are the survivors, and the man begs his wife not to commit suicide, but she wants to die in order to escape her inevitable rape and her family's inevitable murder. And she wishes that they had 3 bullets in their pistol so that all of them can die, but they were only 2 bullets. The man begs her to reconsider decision and he even goes to the extent of asking her to wait till the morning to say goodbye to their son. But she refuses and leaves and she commits suicide. In the morning, the man and the boy pack up and the boy only says, "She's gone, isn't it?" From this, we can understand that the boy was expecting this to happen. There's another flashback where the boy's birth is described. And as they are traveling, the father sees some people approaching and they go and hide. They see a truck stopping near them and the father sees a man from the truck standing only 20 feet away. The father immediately pulls a pistol on the man, but the man thinks that the father will not shoot him because the boy is there. And he also correctly guesses that the father has only 1 or 2 bullets. And the man tries to ask the father and the son to come and join them and even promises them good food. And as they are talking, suddenly the man dives to catch the boy, but the father shoots the man in the head and then he grabs his son and runs away. Then the father finds a truck crew are actually cannibals because they had left behind boiled bones. They continue their journey and the father carves a flute for his son with which the son starts playing. They hear a dog and somehow they manage to find some utensils, clothes and plastic on their way. They keep eating whatever food they get on the way. And one day when they're eating, the boy notices someone looking at him from a house across the street. And he also sees a little boy about his age and runs after him. The son wants to help the boy, but the father refuses. Now the man recalls another incident in the past when his wife was still alive. The family came across another dog and the father wanted to kill it, but his wife walked away and the boy begged his father to spare the dog's life. We find that the boy is full of humanity, and now the father guesses that it must be the month of November, and they find an orchard, and inside the orchard they see frozen human heads, all faced alike, dried and caved with their taunt grins and shrunken eyes. Then they are left with no food, and for 5 days they travel without food and hardly any sleep because they could not find any shelters to sleep. At that time, they stumble upon a large house, but they find that the house is locked with a steel padlock. And the father also finds a spade nearby, and with that, he hacks open the padlock and they enter the house. And inside in the house, in a room, the father finds countless number of people, all naked, male and female. The man immediately leaves the room, hugging his son along with him. And as they are going, they see 4 men and 2 women approaching them, but they run away. The father hands his son the pistol and tells him that if anything happens to them, he must immediately commit suicide because that is the only way to save themselves, or else they will be suffering. Then the father realizes that the house is a trap, and if any newcomers come into the trapped house, they will be put into this room and they are kept as food for the cannibals. As they pass by, the father finds an apple orchard and they also discover good water source. Now, the boy tells his father that they should never resort to cannibalism even if they are going to starve to death. And the father also assures him that they are good guys and they are carrying the fire. Then we find that they find a tool shed where they find something hidden under the grass. The man digs up and finds a door, and beneath the door they find a bunker full of untouched food along with other useful items like clothes, soap, tools, toothpaste and so on. He also finds some cartridges and rifle shells, but he does not find a gun. Then they see a man. This man is actually an old man, so the boy gives him a tin of fruit. The old man tells them that his name is Eli, but later on, after talking with them, he says that his name is not Eli, and he says that generally he will tell to everyone that he is 90 years old in order to protect himself from the bad guys. Then after giving Eli some food, they part ways, and one night the boy has a bad dream. The dream is he is crying and the man will not wake up. And later on they encounter 3 men all armed with pipes, but the father, since he has a pistol, he escapes from them. But as they are traveling, the father becomes ill with bad fever and the boy is really frightened. And then the man remembers when he was slightly older than his son's present age, he has seen a group of men set fire to a mass of serpents in the ground. Then the father recovers from his fever and they start crossing the bridge. And when they come across a road, they find corpses of people who were killed on the road in a great fire. They see a group of people, 3 men and a pregnant woman pass by. But they hide from everyone because they do not know who is a good person and who is a bad person. Later, they see smoke coming out of the woods, and when they go near that, they find a charred human infant, headless and gutted and blackening on the spit. The next morning, they come across an abandoned ship. The name of the ship is Pajero de Espresso, or Bird of Hope, and it hails from Tenerife, a place from a Spanish island. And they recover toolbox, a bottle of gas and a sextant. The boy realizes he has left the pistol and they go searching for it and find it on the sand. Now the father starts coughing up blood very often, and the man also finds a flare pistol and a first aid kit. At night they shoot the flare and celebrate. One day the man sees prints on the sand and they immediately run to the place where they had kept the belongings, but they find that it was completely ransacked. But they track the prints and they find the thief pushing their cart wielding a butcher's knife. The man aims a pistol at the thief, but the boy begs the father not to kill the thief. So he forces the thief to take off his clothes and puts them in the cart. The man actually leaves the thief naked on the roadside, but the boy cries and says that they have to save the thief. So the man leaves the thief's clothes and shoes in the road. Suddenly they are attacked with arrows by a man hiding in a building, and the father gets hit in the leg, but somehow he manages to shoot the flare pistol at the building and set it on fire. And inside the house he sees a woman holding the arrow man. But he is not very sure whether the man is dead or alive, and he finds the women cursing the father as they leave the house. And as they pass by, they see a lot of abandoned cars with corpses inside. Finally, they come to a cleared area, and the man knows that this is the place he would prefer to die. Now the man is bedridden and he begs the boy to continue the journey with the pistol. But the boy refuses, saying that he will not leave his father. But the man assures the boy that even though they are not physically together, The boy can always talk to him. Then the boy travels down, but he does not want to leave his father, so he comes back to his father. Then, when the father wakes up, he still coughs. And the boy asks his father if he remembers the little boy, and the man assures his son that the little boy was not lost. Then the boy sleeps next to his father, but when he gets up, he sees his father dead. The boy cries and remains by his father for 3 days. Finally, he sees someone approaching, and the boy runs to the road with a pistol in his hand. Before going, he piles blankets over the man's body. He sees a man with a shotgun approaching him, and the boy tells him that his father is dead, and he tells a story. On hearing his story, the man tells the boy to join him, and the boy immediately asks whether the man is a good guy, and the man says yes. And then the boy asks him about his family, and the man first asks him to show his father's body. The man adds that the boy can come along with him or stay back with his father and die. Then the boy asks him whether he also carries a fire. The man does not understand. The boy repeats the question, asking him whether he carries a fire, and the man says yes, indeed he is carrying the fire. And he also says that he has 2 children, a boy and a girl and a wife, and he promises that they are not cannibals. Then the boy decides to join them. The man checks the father's body. Then they cover the body with one of the blankets. The boy now trusts the man and he hands over his pistol to him, but the man tells him to keep the pistol for himself. The boy finally says goodbye to his papa. Then they come to the family, and the wife of the man, on seeing the boy, she hugs him and she tries to talk with him, and she even talks about God sometimes. But the boy now finds it easier to talk to his father. And the novel road ends with a short paragraph describing trout swimming in a stream from a distant time. So this is the end of the novel. It was also made into a film. If you want to add anything more to what I have said about this novel, please write it in the comment box. Like the video, share it with your friends, and if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe. And while subscribing, don't forget to press the bell button. Only then you will get the notification of all my videos when I post them. Thank you.